If you don't want extraordinary, man, I'm not your man. If you do want extraordinary, this is what we're talking about. And I think you tune into this because you want extraordinary. That's it.
I was really lucky because I had a chance to interview Donny for my podcast, Woke and Wired. We talked about the consciousness shift that's going on the planet and the new paradigm of unbound energy and how that applies to your personal life and to business. Donny, what's making you feel woke?
Makes me feel woke is knowing that we're at the most exciting time in human history. It's a shift about to occur, and it's actually started where human history, human experience is going to make a greater shift from the beginning of human history to now, all the next few years. And what gets me excited is the paradigm that has prevailed, which worked up to a point but is past its time, is over. A new paradigm is there. A new paradigm offers opportunities for people to collaborate, to be able to know their nature and wake up without having to have suffering or pain to do that. Where instead of material physical possessions being the main thing, or the physical bound energy in our life, such as money, such as, so you still want to have it, okay? Such as identity, such as your drama, such as the economy, and it's unbound. Available to everyone at all times. And then whatever we bind for ourselves as our own, well, as long as we do that, we can also have more available for everybody else. The gifts that keep on giving. We're going to see a shift in consciousness like never seen before, happening faster and faster. And as you observe life, the observer and its relationship to whatever you're observing, whether it be your finances, your relationship, the world, your wounds, your gifts, instantly lights it up. Because the space between us, the field, the cloud, that becomes a primary reality. The forces have created and shaped reality. They're invisible forces. They become the main thing as they downregulate everything else. The type of connection people are looking for, as you're looking for, that connection is a connection. And it connects us and then leads us to really have love, really have influence. So I'd like to be able to know that people know that at this point, connection is the beginning. What happens with a profound connection to energy to organize the world, that's going to become a daily experience for people. That wakes me up. That made me woke.
So what is it going to take from us as humans to experience that shift in consciousness?
Well, we can experience it whether we like it or not, okay? Because it's already happening, okay? Take a look at that now. The world is upside down. It's crazy right now. What's happened is you see things like Airbnb. And Airbnb, what do? What do they own? They exceed the Hiltons, the Marriotts, the Starwoods, now Marriott. All the companies, they don't own anything. Uber, although Uber's still losing oodles of money, it's still renting space, basically, and allowing people to have jobs you wouldn't have before. I was recently in Australia, and I was waiting for an Uber. I couldn't get an Uber. We had to wait. And I said to my wife, Jackie, there's a taxi outside. She said, no, I'll call the Uber. And a few minutes later, they took the taxi sign up for Uber. They were doing both. I said, things have changed here. People buy things. What's important? It's all happening. You know, all the jobs are being lost. And you say, well, this is all crashing, but there's a new consumerism happening. And now the millennials and generations after it, they don't want to buy the same brands they did before. They don't want to buy the cars. They want to rent the space and rent things. Because what they're looking for now is to have an experience, an extraordinary experience. We thought my generation, if you bought the new house, you got a new job. If you change your circumstance, you also change your experience. A long time change of circumstance just gives you more of the same in the next circumstance. So what's happening here now is in this area, in all business it's happening, in life it's happening. Our kids are going to go to college in the future, or they want mentorship. They want to jump in the water, start swimming, and figure it out along the way. There's a different way happening. Also, there's a different way of looking at health. The health system is going to be collapsing because it's not a healthcare system. It's a disease care system. It has nothing to do with health because no doctor is trained in healing. That's actually your personal journey, your personal experience. Treatment of diseases, although may save lives sometimes, that's been the major aspect. Something's wrong, see the physician, he'll help fix it. Well, what they're going to do is, by the nature and the license, to restore you to a prior minimal state when exactly where you were before the symptoms of disease arose. Isn't that what produced it? You see, the person's going to come back with things. The healing's going to come back in healing. The personal autonomy, and not independence, so it's a whole push for independence, interdependence, collaboration is going to replace competition in the world. It's a whole new thing. Now, what happened now? You have Donald Trump as president. People say, oh, that's terrible, whatever. Basically, a president's elected president, a larger system requires a certain instability at a certain time to live an age that's been bound and share information. Now, I would like to have someone who seems to be a really nice human being there, okay? And I'm not sure what's real or not there. What I do know is since he's been there, it's been a different conversation. People talk about things they never talked about before because people were too comfortable with the system being bound without the instability. They didn't question. As long as you could go buy your type of soda pop or whatever you want to have, and they go on unconscious like that. People are waking up. They're waking up to the fact that things have been under the carpet and no longer acceptable. All around the world, you have people coming in, the minority parties. You're having terrorism going on. You have all these things. The largest system we're in is causing massive instability to destabilize the binding of energy and information. Because binding of energy and information, that is actually what this first state of consciousness is about. Ownership. I own you. I own my children. I own the animals that eat on the earth. And when there's such discrepancy between the two, the larger system disperses it because there's a force in nature that moves everything to disbursement. Ultimate disbursement, you're dead. We need more bandwidth to function. Our bodies need bandwidth. We upgrade our systems, not to upgrading humanity. People talk about how, we have to upgrade our technology. What I'm about is the biggest thing that changes. That's upgrading the human technology. That's important. A depth of experience, not just superficial. Nothing juices, nothing gets into this, nothing gets seduction, nothing gets people excited as much as depth. Rather, multiple superficial. Depth of experience is going to be it. People's ability to have access to is going to make a difference. And access doesn't mean ownership. So EpiEnergetics, I'm Epstein, okay? EpiEnergetics is the conscious and ecological use of energy and information to produce extraordinary. If you don't want extraordinary, man, I'm not your man. If you do want extraordinary, this is what we're talking about. And I think you tune into this because you want extraordinary. That's it. Extraordinary is a different set of rules, a different amount of energy, a different amount of bandwidth. Extraordinary means that your view of the world, your experience, how big your system is extraordinarily big. And this is the key. I think the key for all of us. And it goes like this. The quality of your life is proportionate to the emotions you experience regularly. And if you get a new job, new relationship, get more money, if you don't practice new experiences, you'll just experience the same way. You must shift the way you experience life. And the second is how big your system is. Is it my circumstances, my problem, is it my shoulders, my family, is the world, where is it? And there's always a relationship between my unique nature, your unique nature, and the environment. And all of us are looking to change the measurements of life or make symptoms go away. And what symptoms are, pain, disease, spirituality, and love have something in common. They all want to interrupt the life you're living and have you claim something more. I'll say it again. Symptoms, having abundance of money, spirituality, relationships, pain, they all do the same thing. Their job is to interrupt the way you're energetically using your energy in your life, your bandwidth, and experience a different life. So what happens is we want to change that. We want to change the way of functioning. We want to change the way we believe. And we want to change our quality of life. At least we talk about it. But ultimately it's the relationship of your unique nature as an individual and the nature of the environment. Most people figure, I want to change my environment, change people around me. I want to change my environment, change what I'm eating, change these things. With enough energy and coherent energy, ecological use of energy, the life force energy, the emotional, the mental, or the spiritual energy, enough use in your nature, you can create a greater impact on the environment that creates on you. That is, I guess, what the gig of this next tier is going to be about. What is the fingerprint, the mark, the kiss that I'm giving to the larger system so we can continue to evolve? Now that's something worth waking up for.
So I got to experience your technology of upgrading my human technology, and it was mind-blowing.
Yeah, first you said, nothing's going to happen to me, right?
I was like worried that I won't feel it. And then it was just like, my intention was to surrender, to really surrender to the divine flow, into what you have to offer, what life has to offer, and really let my body be a tool. And I felt it, and my whole body was moving in ways it hasn't moved before.
I stroked like this.
Yes, and like all the waves, the whole day, even after it. And it was like nothing I've ever experienced before. And not every...
Because it is like nothing experienced.
I know a ton of people, hundreds of thousands of people have experienced your methodology, but what about those who haven't and might not have a chance to? How do we do all the things that you're talking about?
It's a good question. Okay. A recipe for the first tier of consciousness is based upon the illusion of scarcity. And what we want to move away from, we want to let go of this. If I could heal my past, the future will be better. We always believe we're separate from wherever we want. I'm working on it. You work on your whole life. If it takes effort, you don't keep going there. There's a difference between working with something where it's happening and there's a current moving you. Another thing, if you keep working on my spiritual path, my meditation, I'm working on it, difference between doing the work and getting the result. They're two different things. In this next tier of conscious, organizing force of the universe, guide us and heal us, they're known, they're experienced. I mean, this is, quote, something new, but it's really a modernization, or maybe the yoga of the West, of teachings that all the spiritualists have talked about for centuries. In the last 150 years in the West, we lost it. Those teachings, it's all the same things, whether it be Judaism or Christianity or Islam or Hindu, Confucius, they all talk about a life force energy that gives you certainty and builds the body up, and emotion, mind, and soul and spirit. And that this is what EpiEnergetics is very about, and this is the answer to it. EpiEnergetics refers to epi, which is on the surface of or beyond. My epidermis is on the surface of the dermis, and it meets with the environment. I am Epstein, okay? I'm on the surface of the stein, I'm connecting to you in this way. Around all energy, and this is a biggie, and this will be so commonplace in the next tier of consciousness, which is we're making the transition to now. And what that really is about is that on the second tier of consciousness, we realize that all energy is linked, has a field around it of information. Information that observes itself we call consciousness. So we burn fossil fuel. In this next tier, be aware of it. What is the consciousness associated with this energy? It's usually greed, murder. It's not exactly the most socially caring societies there, and war, etc. It's different with solar, it's different with wind. We eat high in the food chain. More animals are being killed for, are being used for water. We're getting more water is being used for animals than drinking for humans. You take a look at the cloud, is this the best use of energy information, whether you're thinking a thought, or you believe you're thinking, feeling emotion, or taking action? Is this the action that's the most effective action for the outcome I want for myself and for the larger system? That's a different question. Because in the second tier, rather than binding energy and taking what you want for yourself, and the one who wins with the most wins, the funeral car, the hearse does not have a luggage rack on top. Okay? With that, instead of saying that, there's an abundant universe. Abundance of wisdom, abundance of energy, abundance of sun's energy, unbound potential. And as you get to know those energies that organize and develop a relationship with them just by acknowledging them, being with them, by learning about them and experiencing them, all of a sudden they develop a relationship with you. So we're saying here is that this is how you do. There's a relationship between what you observe and the subject object. So for example, you experience pain in your life. You say, oh, it's because my mother and my father. That's not true. That's a story you made. Because if you experience your mother or father when you have a low level energy, you'll have painful thoughts about them. I have great time relationships, I can't make money. If relationships are really great, That's because your observers experience them when they have lots of available energy. And the way you're experiencing money is vice versa. I hate my sister, I love my brother. The way your observer is experiencing your sister is different than your brother. So people start realizing behind all physical form is an energetic, and start looking to know, what is my nature, who am I, why am I here, what I'm made of, and the fact that every moment we're cursing or blessing ourselves, the people around us, space, and AAA. Become aware of situation or circumstance as it is, without the hunger to change it, without the hunger to name it, without the hunger to judge it, and without the hunger to make it something else. But Donny, you're talking about you, it's understand what happened to me, this happened to me, you want me to just be with that? Eventually you're going to have to be. Because in the second tier, pure awareness of the nature of a system is a game unto itself. It starts changing it. So, because the observer, when you go for pure awareness, it activates truth. That's a higher energy, and suddenly something's different. And after you become aware, then you want to acknowledge it. Acknowledge it, give testimony, share with someone, guess what? I used to think this. And you know what? That was pretty silly. Well, it hurts when I do this. Really. You see, once you put a name on it, it's because of arthritis, it's disease, something like that. You're not responsible for changing it. It's a concept. There's no energy in a concept. And after you become aware and acknowledge it, next thing is accept it. Not accept it. Sometimes I'm a jerk. Sometimes I lose money. In the moment, sometimes, because everything is a flux of challenges, when you say, you always do this, you never do it, it's always a lie. It's because it's a means of being in that lower energy state. Be aware of how you hold your body. Observe people around you, observe, and see. They're talking a conversation. They say, oh, I'm fully awakened right now. I love you so much. It's no energy, right? I mean, is the life, is the passion, what's happening? Don't try to fix or go to fix. That's not working. It's not working because there's not enough energy to organize it. Instead, first go to that which is working. Where's the blessing? Where's the grace? Don't ignore the other. But it's like, if you have a child who's in a temper tantrum, you can start competing with the child. Or you're going to say, wow, look over how beautiful it is. And he goes, wow, they forgot the other. Stop trying to move away from something. Move towards. These are all simple little pieces that add to it. So for example, how many of you have been wanting to say, I gotta let go of this, whatever you gotta let go of, is you gotta first be with, because it's not gonna disappear until you're with it, because no change happens until acceptance. That doesn't mean surrender, acceptance, that's just the way it's been. See, we're fighting your nature. So the next thing is, if you want to get to the next level, you have to bring more energy into it. And how does that mean? When you messed up, we don't ever observe it. It's just, how are you doing? Well, Ksenia may say, well, what do you think? I recorded a podcast, didn't go through. They shut down my account for this, or whatever it's going to say. I happened to my apartment. I said, ask how are you doing? When you messed up, there's not enough energy to even have a you there. Mm-hmm. There's no help then. Life will try to kick you apart until it unbinds the energy enough force or violence that you get to your hands and knees and say, I'm helpless. Saying I'm helpless is great, because then at least you get help. Okay, that's it. So, there's a difference there. Once you realize it's me observing, and I'm sure you have the time, gee, there's me who's choosing to observe this way. Once that happens, now you're on the path to start saying, what is this observer? You are not the originator of thoughts. You instead are the receiver of thoughts. The amount of energy you have determines it. If my body has low energy, it's like this. I'm going to think sucky thoughts. Life sucks, you suck, fuck you, that's it. I'm going to be up like this. I'm going to say, it's okay, yes, I got some problems, I'm working on it. Life's like this. It's scheduled, it's done. Life's like this. Higher energy, suddenly other people are impacted by the spiritual nature. If you bring energy to any system, we're a system, our body, consistent with this nature, instant effortless becomes something else. In the next year, we no longer have to have trauma to rip us apart, to unbind energy. And maybe 5 or 10, 15, 20 years later, finally the break becomes something that was a turning point, because after that it became more compassionate. In the moment it happened. And by knowing your nature, we don't have to have the same type of painful life disruptions. Give you a gentle touch, or look, glance somebody's eye, and you get the message. So my suggestion, as often as you can, observe, realize it's a me observing this. Then, see if you do this. Focus on two perspectives at once. Two. So, is it right? Is it wrong? Is it good? Is it bad? Am I doing it well? Will I be punished or rewarded? That only results in you being part of the status quo. You become your prognosis, you become what your family said, and everything else. Hold two perspectives at once. What's your perspective? My perspective. What is your perspective? As Ksenia's, how is mine different? My mother, my father, live in their shoes. We have more than one perspective at a time, two simultaneous alternating, holding them both at the same time. Something happens when you get the upper part of your brain, and the energy, the space between you is actually energized. Because every thought, every action, every emotion, every story, every reality, every manifestation only exists to a certain level of energy. So basically, next here, energy is seen as primary. And what's information? Everything. This glass is information. What is information? Information with energy becomes just a hope or a dream. Any hope or dream you want to make into a business relationship requires energy. The right type of energy. Maybe you want to put spiritual energy into everything. I want to love all the time. I love all the time. And some people burn out. They get disease, immunological disease, cancer and stuff because using soul energy. When indeed the body has to have screw you energy. I have to fight for my life right now. Just the 3 bears. Not too much, not too little, just the right energy. If you want to make a difference in the world, you have to have enough energy that your field, the space between you, lights people up. And there's so many ways. And all my EpiEnergetic technologies, there'll be an epi-healing, which is going beyond ordinary healing, where it's about you, not your conditions, about the life you're living in. What happens if you have a symptom or a disease, and rather looking to feel better about it, you see that as a means of saying, what is my life about, and how can I be stronger than ever after? How could every life interruption be a means of helping me make my life better than it was before? So when there's a heart condition, they have a cardiac situation, they have a stent put in, or they do some of the exercise. Ultimately, that cardio rehab wants to be stronger than they were before. People don't expect with the eyes to be stronger, psychologically stronger, but everything you want to be more pliable, more adaptable. That's your goal. So some people's goal may be, I know someone went to the hospital, she had a lumpectomy, and it was in Australia, and they did the operation. They said, just in case, I'm always concerned about just in case, because just in case, we'll do radiation therapy. To radiation therapy, they burnt her lung. Okay. She's in the hospital now with a lung infection. They said, well, there's a precancerous node. It may have been post-cancerous, the body does change it. They gave chemotherapy, she's in the hospital now 4 months. And now they wanted to get a hospital-borne infection, and they wanted to give dangerous antibiotics sparingly. So a friend called me and said, well, she was my friend. I said, I'm not giving medical advice on this, but did she want to be, well, of course she wants to be, well, what does that mean? Well, I want my cancer not to reappear. I want this, and everything was what she wants to go away. There's always more in life, people. There's always more, and I know you're listening to this because you're seekers. Sinkers and brains are wired differently. They don't want less, they want more. They know there's more. There's no physical universe. In business, they want to create something that never happened before. They want to go beyond. They know there's so much more. They're hungry for it. They know it's different. There's no other forces around for themselves and for the world. That's probably why you're listening to this. That's what you attract. Now here, with this, if you always get more. You get more of what you don't want or more of what you must have. So you want to focus on what do you really want to the higher order that makes the low ones disappear. Those are the type of questions people are going to ask. Not how do I fix this so I feel comfortable. Comfort is slow death. You want comfort every once in a while, but don't expect to make change or heal or go beyond if you're comfortable. Or have a great, how was lovemaking last night? It was comfortable, right? The idea is to get you very uncomfortable, right, for a while. So this is it. So I said to a friend, tell me, ask your friend, she wants, well, yeah, what you want? I don't want this, I don't want that, I don't want that. I want this to go away. I said, what do you want to replace? She never thought about it. I said, ask your friend, what if she claimed that she wanted the upper 10% healthy immune system in the world? That's a higher order, that's epi-healing. You go epi beyond that. Yeah. She said, yeah. She says, what would she do? I said, well, I asked her, she says, well, if I want that, I'm not going to take the drugs. I'm not going to take radiation, because that job is to help me by destroying the system in that way. That's a different cultural model. I'm not saying what you're doing now, but just thinking about it. So I asked your friend when she was the happiest and most excited in life. You must be happy then. What's she doing? She said, well, she's a master swimmer. So I said, well, why don't you do what makes you the happiest, most alive, most vital, most energized? So she checked out of the hospital. And I'm not telling people they have to check out. I'm giving this as a metaphor. And instead of going for a respiratory therapist, she started working out with a trainer. She said, if my focus now is my going back into swimming again, my lungs have to be better. My immune system has to be better. Whether it be that or not, what more makes the less irrelevant? The same thing in the world, in business, in life, in your relationships. Oh, we have marital problems. Let's talk about our problems. Listen, if you made love more, you wouldn't have time to talk about that.
Can you expand a little more on the business side of it? And especially now in our world, I'm someone who posts pictures and messages and shares my energy online on Instagram. And that's how I travel the world, that's how I make money, that's how I create impact. It's still, even for me, crazy to think about. Can you explain the energetics behind it? And why is it that when I do my work, I notice a shift in my business and how people respond to my work?
Thank you. That's why, I've worked with about 250,000 people in the healing arts. I've worked with all kinds of celebrities, government leaders, etc. in the healing arts. And Network Spinal is my latest update, new version of the network applications in the chiropractic profession on the EpiHealing Banner. And it produces a unique wave that goes to each individual. This wave is a fingerprint for each individual. What would it be like? And this applies to the ants. What if you had an energetic wave, like a yoga wave, but very refined, go through your body and your spine, that suspends anything that's not authentically you and replaces it with your organic patterns in the way your musculature, your spine, and your consciousness works. You become more coherent across the space, inflant people in space. I've studied that, and how people respond in a higher organized state, the choices they make. Reading over 8,400 people over the years, I started spreading into other areas, and how you live your life. And every performance is basically about how it might apply to business. We were originally doing it with corporation companies like Sony and Unilever and NASA and other companies that have business consultants using our technology, not the physical application, the concepts of how systems change. The words you say, the actions you do, are not the main thing that impacts another. It's the amount of congruent energy you have that we respond to. Before we think, 99% or some high percentage of the message in the nervous system never get to the conscious mind. They're filtered out with our emotions, our life force, how we move, and how we emotionally respond. You've already decided yes or no before you even get to the mind. It's already happened that way. No one buys something because of the idea of it. They buy because of the way they feel the impact of it. The why, not the what or the how. With this in mind, there are different types of people, different typologies, energy differently. Could you imagine having a person who is your main salesperson whose energy level is like this and says, I don't know, maybe you should do it, I don't know. Okay. But you're broadcasting that signal without the words all the time. You're broadcasting it. There are 3 different levels of energy a person can have. One is a poor system where it's going to collapse, and then the person just like deer in the headlights. The next is most people have neutral system, which means it's okay, I'm working on it, I'm trying. Use a lot of the word buts. No declarative statements. I'll figure it out, but maybe however this, we'll try to get it done for you, okay? That already made sure no, nothing's gonna happen. Because we respond to energy, we'll be energized. Energy-rich situation holds multiple perspectives at that point. You're deliberate, you know what's gonna happen, your posture is different, and you're focusing what the outcome is. As you focus on it, people who are so confused, would say, I don't know how it's gonna happen, what's gonna happen, company's going out of business. Say, well, if it was gonna happen, what would happen? And everyone has the answer. Create synergy. And then a higher level, suddenly, people just associate the product, you're just so excited. Apple is brilliant. Apple is brilliant to be able to create with their brand an association of enthusiasm, of novelty and excitement and personalization of that. Okay, one of the big first trillion dollar company, one of the big companies. People think, oh, there's still a little kid on the block. Facebook, oh, still a little kid on the block. But that energy they kept was a novel energy that people perceived as a youthful vitality is what they had with that. So I'll give you an example of something. One of the Epiperformance consultants had a company, I think it was a small company, maybe about $10 or $12 million business, relatively company business-wise. And they had the main product was being quarantined in California. They didn't do enough diversification. All the stuff went for this one contract. And they had another lawsuit coming up. The consultant came in and just talked to them about the energy states and how where you focus your attention on the product, on the consumer, that energy somehow, in some way, is received. Spiritualists have talked about for centuries. And I thought anything mind can see, truly believe will achieve. Poverty results in thoughts. Everything from your throat to your Emerson had involved in it. The Eastern philosophies had in Napoleon Hill. It was all this, that's the concept around. And they had a concept. They realized the way they were going about it was in a lower energy state. They just thought declarative statements what we exactly like to see, when we'd like to see it, how we'd like to see it, how our product is help people. They all focused on that. And I don't know, a day or two later, it was released from quarantine, the lawsuit was settled. And it seems kind of dramatic, but this is it. I'm sure you've had in business, people you have in business, you take clients you haven't seen in a while, think about them for a while, and then they call.
Yes.
So it's the energetics and a different typology. Some people are excited about going many levels beyond and actually experience you fully. Some people experience themselves fully. What's the right type of person for the right type of situation? All of these are about understanding typology of what type of person uses energy differently, bringing the right energy in the right place. I have here a glass of water. Okay, a glass of water here. The glass is stable. The water is vibrating. It's unstable. Okay, it's right here. If I take the glass and I go like this and I start moving it closer to me, I can say, well, it's close. I can grab it. I start moving it almost out of my reach. It's getting very unstable, and now I might spill it. Everything is stability or instability. Too much stability, the system collapses because it doesn't change. Too much instability, too much change, and you can't organize it. The question is this. Do you allow for enough instability or stability? If not, the larger system will require a rapid change in market conditions, a rapid change in your company. There's instability to bind energy to make a change. Some people thrive on instability first. Some thrive on stability. You want to know what your nature is and have the team balanced in the whole area. So you may have an innovative person who wants to create new products. I'm one of those guys, artists, I want to keep creating new. And then I get stability. New. Question is, with so many new ideas, you lose your main theme. So it's understanding force of stability and instability. Everything is breaking us down. Force of instability, always try to break our life down. Life tries to build it up. Rather than fighting it, recognize it's going to happen. You want to be ready for the instability with enough energy. It's seduction. Seduction. You like seduction there? You like seduction? Okay, what is seduction? Seduction is massive instability, uncertainty, plus a tinge of fear, plus having enough rich energy between you and someone else, or you and an idea, you and a group of people, that it's worth taking the risk. This is it. If you have instability and the fear without a bigger vision of yourself and the team in a moment, what happens is the system collapses. It's called trauma. It's called breakdown. This is where, at that moment, whoever client you think out, whoever the team you think out, the result is not going to be good because the energy between people is what determines the result, determines the contract. Whatever agreement we have, the amount of energy you focus on it determines much of what the result will be. And you find after a while, it's too painful in a business to drop the energy level even for a moment to that level. Now, if you're doing paperwork or doing filing, that's okay. But if you want to make impact, you have to have more energy to you and another person. So that's really what it's about. It's about creating that instability and fear, a little tinge of fear. Now, we have it all the time, instability and fear. But do we have the compelling vision which adds enough energy that people are willing to, that's what leaders are made for. And the young business person, you got to be a leader. And leaders are only made, I learned from Tony Robbins, who's one of my teaches. I've been taking care of him for 14 years, and we're buddies, and it's been a great relationship, and it's been great opportunities for both of us, and a great opportunity for me. And he says leaders are made only in uncertain times. These uncertain times, we need leaders. Leaders export energy to others. To do that, you must have enough energy to answer. You must have energy for yourself. If you don't have enough energy to fuel your life, to be able to be in the instability, to have the creativity, to have the love, then what happens, you can't export it. And now the environment impacts you greater. So since you are in the business, and you're the CEO, you're both the artist and the business operator, okay? Since you're doing both at this point, with that, your focused attention, how much energy the people receive or experience determines whether they like you or not. There's not much energy, you don't like it. Terrible, real drop energy, you hate it, or it's really painful. Neutral energy, it's like, okay, it's okay, I'll just be acceptable, be okay, oh, I like it, you know. How's last night? It was okay, I love you too. Okay, no repeat business, right? There. And then, or maybe if you like that, okay, it'll be a business, okay, it's okay, yeah. And then the other thing is now, and if you now get to the next level of energy, now it's a whole other thing. Now what you're talking about, there's enough energy that I have now that it spills over in my communication, my letter writing, what people hear, what they think of the brand.
Social media posts.
Social media posts, how energized today. When somehow, and I recently was at the Facebook campus, a friend of mine has seen leadership there, and I've worked with the human field of consciousness. It was the first time I actually experienced the artificial field of consciousness and the actual field, the intersection of it. Okay. And the work we're doing academically by having a human identifier will be what's necessary for artificial intelligence to link to the nervous system in a great way. The key thing is, and we're right now in a very dangerous time, where artificial intelligence learns. It learns and learns and learns. Artificial intelligence, these mega computers are sitting back to us and people can't turn them off because they want to survive. And by their standards, humans are very inefficient. So, just because something's easy and easier to do something a certain way, it doesn't mean the result is better for you. What's the net result you want? What's the net result you want? Well, if I do this, I look on this, I add these numbers up, it's faster. Yes. If you add it up without the computer, would you be more enriched in doing it? When do you want to have a personal conversation? Well, it's fast. Going for experience is a deathly trap. Going for value is a different trap, a different thing. And for the generation here, you're used to so much social media, so much connection. And the rate of suicide, the rate of everything else is really challenged because it's only the depth of experience. Only an extraordinary experience will lead to an extraordinary life. An extraordinary experience, then strategies how to be with it. That's it. Ordinary experience leads to ordinary life. What most people are doing to be comfortable, to have many connections, are doing it ordinary. And they get upset if something destroys it. You go jog, you want just the music you want on the radio, on the thing. You have only your playlists. You want to go only go the place you want. That's, I call, a sign of illness. Then what happens, it's difficult to have to make major, it's difficult to be with a novelty. Because you want everything your way. There is no your way. It's humanity's way. And that's going to make you do things that are uncomfortable very often, but uncomfortable with a tinge of fear, but you know it's right. That's the thing, that's decision business. I very rarely make a purely rational decision in business or anything. If it's purely rational, it doesn't involve emotion, it doesn't involve a spiritual element, it's a do-over. Just to get it off the list? No. The people involved will feel that. You, for people in business here, fall out of, your business is not your product or service. Artists don't want to believe that, but it's not your product. I didn't want to believe it until recently. And a business, a system of systems, which I'm first learning now, that produce extraordinary results for people and makes revenue valuable for people. But this is the key. Please fall out of love with the product, the service, you go about it, and fall in love with the value you're going to bring to people and humanity. When you do that, something else wakes up. See the gap between where you are and where it must be, not for your benefit. I speak to friends who talk about, even talk about Facebook. They talk about Zuckerberg, and they say that they have to have meetings with him to tell him this is a good business decision. He said, no, but this is right for the people. Still now he has that ideal things. There are people in the companies who say, no, this is a good business decision. It's educationally right. It's academically right. It seems right for me. Is it right, though? Is it the best? Does it serve? Focus on that. Focus on making a bigger difference than anybody else did for people, in a way that honors their nature. See the gap between where you are and where you must be, and the gap between you are and where your company must be, the gap between you are and where the world must be. Hold them both at the same time. Be with them. The bit more successful you get, hopefully you feel a little bit more humble. Because the more impact you make, the reality is, the smaller you feel, but the bigger your vision. Something happens to you. Oh my God, something happens and you realize, I have millions of people infected what I've done, millions of people. I mean, people's lives, for all different aspects. I have energetic disciplines where we activate the energy around the body, and suddenly, consistent with a person's personal incarnation, suddenly they are, as you experience some of it. I have exercises that connect you to the rhythm of the universe. We have research, 11 universities studying, we're doing, people get the master's and PhD degrees studying how the human nervous system reorganizes. What I'm talking about affects every area of life. That wherever a person is, you have a field, it's a cloud. How is it possible you call somebody on the phone, somebody else answers it? Because it goes up to a tower and comes back to someone else? Same thing with your focused attention. We gotta start blessing people more and blessing the world and blessing with our focused attention. We do that by what we consider sacred. What is sacred? Your focused attention, the energy you used to bring. So what this involves is a lifetime learning about what are the energies that organize the world. What is my nature? What is someone else's nature? Who am I? Why am I here? What am I made of? Then everything else in between, it just falls into line. For most people, life is about iron filings. And this is my relationship, this is my business, this is my hobby, this is my family, this is my values. And at the end of the day, if you have 5 or 6 of them lined up, you're happy. But the larger forces want to break them apart, because that's what nature does. And you build them up again. And after a while, you could be concerned with a few less of iron filings. Or you put the electromagnet on. And not only those 5 or 6, but thousands or millions of iron filings consistent with your nature suddenly are attracted to you in the force of attraction. That's what we're talking about. Whatever you are, that's what you find more of. Whatever you value, you feel better about. You feel better with more energy. Less energy, you feel worse. More energy, you feel better. Your life circumstance does not determine how you feel. Accomplishing more will not make you feel better about yourself. Knowing who you are and expressing it will help you more successful. You're not going to be happy when you achieve. If you're more joyous, you'll achieve more happily. And that will affect people.
Boom. Bless everyone listening. Bless everyone watching. Donny, what's the best way for everyone to look up your work and connect with you?
EpiEnergetics, right here. Here we go. Hey, EpiEnergetics.com is the website. And go through the whole thing. It's a revolution. It's a revolution for the new way of thinking,
Do it.
being. Do that. You go to Facebook, and it's Epstein Donny. Epstein Donny on Facebook. It's another way. You got the links there. And follow me. You'll find out stuff. I'll promise you I'll never be short on content. I'll never be short on energy. I woke up and I wake up over and over again. Listen, when you wake up, you're going to fall asleep at time. That's okay. Just remember, you're responsible for what happened when you slept. So keep waking up. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
What a gift. Welcome to Woke and Wired, a new conversation about expanded consciousness and entrepreneurship. We are here to shift the paradigm of business and marketing and social media in this digital age of infinite possibility and bridge our inner technology, our intuition, with outer technology through rituals, personal development tools, conscious business practices, spiritual tools, and the magical tool of social media. I am your host, Ksenia, storyteller, conscious social media teacher, speaker, and a multidimensional traveler. Welcome to the new paradigm.